Hi, everybody. This is Gad Saad. Today, I wanted to discuss one instantiation of a so-called microaggression that is actually an attack on natural human dynamics. And I will use two specific examples to make the point. So earlier today, my family and I went out for lunch, and then we stopped in our old neighborhood for a coffee. And at one point, I was sitting with one of my children, waiting for the coffee, and I noticed that there was another woman sitting at the communal table we were seated at, who was staring at us. And okay, I didn't think anything of it, but then at one point, once the rest of my family joined us, she said, "Excuse me," and I said, "Yes." She said, "I'm sorry, do you mind if I ask you a question?" I said, "Sure." "Where are you guys from?" And so I said, "Well, guess." And so she said, "Oh, okay. You look as though maybe you're Lebanese." And I said, "Exactly." And then she proceeded to apologize for the next, minute, saying, "I'm really sorry if I asked where you're from," and so on. I said, "You don't have to apologize. I mean, it's perfectly okay to ask where we're from. We don't look like we're necessarily from Quebec originally. And even if we were, it doesn't matter. You're just asking an innocent question, and so don't worry about it." And I proceeded to sort of reassure her. She said, "Oh, but because I asked someone else where they're from and they were offended," which of course got me thinking about the fact that asking where you're from to someone is one of the listed manifestations of a microaggression that you should not commit on university campuses. So this person, had they actually internalized that edict, would never have interacted with us. We ended up extending our parking spot, like by an extra half an hour, because we were having a really fun conversation with her. She's an art teacher, and it was one of those beautiful serendipitous moments of life where you just meet someone at a cafe and you just start chatting with them and so on and so forth. What started that whole conversation was one of those nasty, racist microaggressions. Or it's called being human. And those who espouse the microaggression nonsense are being anti-human. And then as we were discussing this in the car on our way home, my wife said, "Well, actually, that's how we met Fred and his family." Fred is a FBI special agent with whom we've become friends, with him and his family. And this is in Southern California, where some of you know, we lived there for a few years, and I have family there. We always go back to Southern California. And my wife reminded me that when we first met Fred and his family, it's precisely because he had met us at this little park off this beautiful little secluded beach, where he approached us and asked where we were from. So this FBI special agent had also committed this horrifying microaggression by asking where we're from. So we developed a friendship with his family, and we met this woman today. In both cases, it was because of a nasty microaggression. Or they were human beings who were interested in knowing about our background, and there's absolutely nothing that is offensive about asking someone where they're from. Yes, I'm Canadian. Yes, I'm proud to be Canadian. But originally, my family doesn't come from Canada, and I seem to have the phenotype that suggests that I'm not Swedish, that suggests that I'm not from Tokyo, Japan, that suggests that I'm not from Nairobi, in the sense of the indigenous people in those countries. And so asking where someone is from is simply demonstrating an interest in them. It's not aggressive, it's not offensive, it's not insulting. The only thing that's insulting is those who are insulted by this most gentle of interest in another person. Don't buy into this microaggression. Don't believe it. Be kind to everyone. Be polite, be sweet, be generous, but don't be one of those microaggression schmucks. They break down natural human dynamics that, if anything, is what makes life interesting and enriching. Take care, everybody. Cheers.